YouTubers, Mike Martin's here, Mike Martin's channel. Man, I got a really good article I want to share with you guys, and it's the same article I read last year about the same thing happening in the city of Vancouver and in the city of Sydney, where it's so expensive that waiters can no longer afford to live in the city. And I spoke to a friend of mine personally who has a restaurant in downtown Vancouver in Gastown for over, I think, 14 years now. And he's kind of debating on shutting his doors because he can't find help. Why? There's a lot of good help out there, but they can't afford to live in the city. So San Francisco is facing the same thing. It's so expensive that waiters can no longer afford to live in the city, and is changing the way restaurants are serving food and hiring workers. Look at that. The housing, and there's keynotes here. Housing in San Francisco is so expensive that it's commonly referred to as being in a crisis. Restaurant workers are fleeing the city's unmanageable costs, The Guardian reported, and is changing the way the industry is serving customers. Some restaurants are having customers order at the counter instead of being waited on a table, and are simplifying their menus to decrease the size of their waitstaff. The problem isn't unique to the Bay Area restaurants. All cities like New York, Washington have encountered the same staffing issues. Michelin recently released its 2019 San Francisco Guide and awarded the city the stars that it's never had before. Why? Including 8 restaurants with the coveted 3-star status. But there's a grimmer reality behind those numbers. Many restaurants in the city can no longer attract and maintain enough talent to keep operations running as they have been. Largely, that's because San Francisco housing market is so expensive. It's driving people out in droves. In fact, a Business Insider, Melia Robinson, reported that the city is so expensive, the median home price is at $1.6 million. That's 60% of a tech workers say they can't afford homes. Remember that article I read with you guys about tech workers all living in one house? There's like 11 of them sharing a 4-bedroom home because it's so expensive to live. The news bodes even worse for many workers in the service industry, despite citywide change hike implemented in July 1st, 2018 that raised the minimum wage to $15 an hour. Rent continues to be unaffordable for many. And it means that restaurants, bars, and coffee shops, once common source of employment for people in the Bay Area, are struggling to hire enough staff to keep operations running. Looking beyond the Bay Area, they talk about people having to drive from long-distance travel. As for management, looking to fill out staff in these establishments, it means hiring an increasingly pressing challenge. A Business Insider, Kay Taylor, reported, an analyst that also calling a lack of employees one of the biggest problems in the restaurant industry today. So, guys, I'll leave a link below if you want to read the full article. But this is happening, and it really is. It's hitting hard. I have a friend that has a car wash, hand dry, and all the whole thing down in California. He's having a really tough time keeping people employed because they just can't afford to live off minimum wage, right? So it's hitting every industry. It's a service industry. It's coffee shops. Coffee shops don't make a lot of money, okay? And it's really tough to stay afloat when you have a mom and pop's business that's, you know, been in business for, unless they own the building, and then they could kind of tweak wages a bit so people could afford, you know, or people are kind of like, you're going to see a lot of companies, especially the mom and pops companies, you're going to start noticing them becoming more and more family oriented, where they're not like immediate family, but everyone's going to treat each other like family. Like, oh, you can sleep on my couch this week. Oh, I know you're couch surfing. I'm really sorry to hear. Let's see if something comes up, a room comes up, and God knows where. Like, everyone's going to kind of, I think they're going to bond together closer and work together on the same team, as opposed to talking bad about each other on lunch break. I want to know what you guys think. It's hitting Vancouver real hard. And in Sydney, it got so bad that they had to build segregated housing for policemen, garbage men, doctors, everybody in that, like, public sector work, government work in Sydney, have to specific segregated apartments just for them to rent because they can't afford to live in their own city that they live in. That's how bad it's gotten. Let me know what you guys think. comment below. I'd like to know if this is happening. I made a video about this about Vancouver. Now San Francisco is experiencing this exact same problem. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Don't forget to join me tonight for Trends in the Housing Market tonight at 7 p.m. Western Seaboard time.